Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be. MARTY. PDawgKnight is free. The show is free. I'm just saying, okay? Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's the Morning Night Live with me. You know me. And boy, oh boy. When I was doing show prep last night, boy, did I find some gems. Yeah, more of these people trying to tell us that the Trump voters or whatever need to be reprogrammed or some bullshit like that. I am not happy with these assholes, and I'm holding back right now. I really am. But there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, right? And it's all election related and whatnot. So we're going to get into it a little bit, and we'll do that right after the intro. I'll be back in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. And stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It's Friday. I love me some Friday because it means I have 2 days where I don't have as much to do. Although I think Lady Boomer has a list. She sometimes has a list, and I'm sure we'll get into that list soon enough. But it's Friday, the 20th of November, 2020, the 475th show of the Morning Night Live. And I just figured out, did I plan this out right? I think the 500th episode is going to be Christmas week, but I don't remember what day Christmas is this year. If anyone wants to look at that up for me. But the other thing about today is it's also Funky Friday. Yeah. Let it ride. Ho. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. One of those annoying music days, but I finally got a way to get the sound levels right. Christmas is on Friday. Well, then the 500th episode of the Morning Night Live will be on a Friday, so it'll be a funky Christmas Friday, probably. So let's see how that looks. Like that music level is about right too, and I can watch this. I can turn it up. And I can turn it back down with ease now because I have a whole new setup for the Funky Friday music. Anyway, let's say good morning to everybody in the chat because it is Funky Friday, and then we're going to get into some of this cringe that we tend to see in the world, and just do developments and things happening with the election and all kinds of stuff. If you missed our COVID show yesterday, go back and watch that. Yesterday was the COVID show. It was lots of FTGs yesterday, I gotta tell you. Anyway, this morning, first in the chat is our good friend Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who gets the bell. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Welcome back. Also, good morning, James PFP, who says...
That's right.
two Black Hebrew Israelite. Also, good morning to Maddie and Ronan, who are Maddie, you're about to do some new content creation. I see you got everything worked out. Good, that's awesome. Also, good morning to Zach Osborne, Zero the Hero, the big guy. Listen, fat. Also, good morning to Cindy Rochelle, Big Assassin 80, Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, good morning, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy. boy.
Good morning, Smarty Bear. Nice to see you back. Also, good morning, Advocatus Diaboli, the Devil's Advocate, and DI Freighter Watchers in the house. Also, Cheeky Bastards here. Nice to see you. Not provided. Hello. This says P Dizzle. Hey, Larry. Yeah, I like saying that because that's his name. Hey, Larry. Good morning also to Scotty Dubs. What's up? Jonas Pedersen. Hello. Good morning to, let's see, is that it? Oh, no. Katie Did Skates here. How you doing? Looks like as I scroll, Gunfox61. Mike, oh, I said Mike Savage. Hi again, Mike Savage. Is that it? Is that the whole chat? We got a lot of people here already, but we got 34 in the house already as we start the show. And let me know if that music level's about right. I could change it more. See, look, watch. If we want to jam, I can turn it up. And if you want to hear me talk, I can turn it down. I'm figuring this out. After 475 episodes, I finally figured out how to control my music. So there you go. Also, good morning. Michael Hatfield's in the house. Jackals Freudstein, nice to see you. Welcome, everybody. And anyone who's here, if you're lurking or just kind of watching in the background or watching while you're driving, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that little bell when it pops up so you get notifications. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. Mine's Gavin Parler, right up there. At PDawgKnight is the name. Good morning, Lucian Sarkar. How you doing? Good to see you. All right, and I do have my cup of reparations coffee. I have the patience of a saint. I don't know if you can read that or not because the light issue's there. But anyway, Saint Cunty McFuckoff. Yes, and that's how I kind of feel today. So we had a very interesting thread on Twitter yesterday, and now I see I have an article about it too. What did I do with that? Here we go. The question comes up by well, who is this by? I want to see who this is. I bookmarked it and I have a story on it. Give me 1 second here. This gentleman's name is David Atkins. Now, David Atkins is a contributor to Monthly. I don't even know what Monthly is. The Prospect, and elsewhere. Regional Director of California Democrats, elected DNC member, dad of two. I run a qualitative research firm, okay? This is someone named David Atkins, not to be confused with the Atkins diet. And he has a question on the internet that made me go, say what? All right, why is this doing this? Let's try. Here we go. There we go. He has a question on the internet that made me go, say what? Motherfucker. And that question is, how do you deprogram 75 million people? California Democrat wants dang it, silly effing me. Let's see if I can beat that to the stream that was there. Did it work? Not quite. Thank you, Gunfox61, by the way, with the first donation of the day with the $2, who says, we have our first sponsors here. This is our first sponsor of the day. Thank you. By the way, if you're new here, now on the donations, you can either tell me what you want me to tell everybody else, or you can tell me who the sponsor is. We're doing sponsor ads on the donation. So our first sponsor of the day, and here's the ad. Antifa and BLM members keep looting your stores, and the city don't do anything about it. We fear not. American Rubber Products has your back. With great American-made 100% rubber and rock salt rounds, show those looters your might with American Rubber. So apparently they make American Rubber rounds. I wasn't sure where you were going with that American Rubber thing, but yes, rubber bullets in Minecraft, right? And thank you, Gunfox61, for the first sponsor of the day. All right, how do you deprogram 75 million people? California Democrats wants a post-World War II type re-education for conservatives. Now, I'm going to go actually to the thread here on Twitter. So let me read this. This is amazing. And there's actually a name for this. But anyway, he says, no, seriously, how do you deprogram 75 million people? Where do you start? Fox? Facebook? We have to start thinking in terms of post-World War II Germany or Japan, or the failures of Reconstruction in the South. I think you're going to start to understand what the meaning of my title today and the thumbnail are. He continues, this is not your standard partisan policy disagreement. This is a conspiracy theory fueled belligerent death cult against reality and basic decency. The only actual policy debates of note are happening within the Democratic coalition between the left and the center left. Really? You don't think taxes are a policy position? You don't think Middle East policy is a policy position? You don't think our relationship with NATO and other countries in the world is a public policy issue? You don't think regulation and deregulation is a public policy issue? You don't think that the monetary system is a public policy issue? You don't think that immigration is a public policy issue? I could go on and on and on where I have disagreements with you assholes. And remember, I'm not a Trump supporter, okay? I'm an America supporter. And this time, I voted for Donald Trump. Do I need deprogramming here, David Atkins? Motherfucker. He says, I know conservatives are upset by some of the responses here, and yeah, many are out of line. We'll get into some of those responses. But what do you expect people to do in self-preservation? Self-preservation of what, asshole? Did anyone put you in a camp? Are you in the gulag right now, David? Did the dictator declare that he's going to take all your money and give it to somebody else? What the hell are you talking about? Self-preservation. Good morning, John Arnott. How you doing? And Cindy Rochelle. I think I said hi to Cindy Rochelle. I'm going to say hi to hi, Cindy. Nice to see you. As he continues. Oh, and he says, what do you expect people to do in self-preservation? The right has been running 4 years on fuck your feelings. My conspiracy theories are valid opinions, and we have more guns. Conspiracy theories, motherfucker? What do you call the Russia thing that you tried to sneak in? Or the conspiracy theory that Donald Trump was trying to get Ukraine to help him in the election. He didn't need Ukraine. 75 million people voted for him. On the economy. Oh, is the economy a public policy position? He says you can't run on a Civil War footing, hopped up on conspiracy theories, hating everyone who lives in cities. Oh, how about y'all hating everybody who agrees with the president on policy positions? Who's getting beat up in the street? It's not you assholes. It's people wearing red hats. Mainlining Fox, Breitbart, QAnon. QAnon is nothing. You know, they have this QAnon. They needed a boogeyman. They found their boogeyman in QAnon and the Proud Boys. And QAnon has so little influence. It's some goofball. Yeah, it's a goofball conspiracy theory. Although some of it has basis in truth, but it doesn't mean that they have. QAnon's not a big, powerful part of the right, dickhead. Threatening to kidnap governors. Oh, remember the people who threatened to kidnap governors were not on the right, dumbass. FYI. They hated Trump. And shoot protesters. Well, haven't seen a whole lot of shooting of protesters. I saw one guy kill somebody in self-defense. I've seen more Trump people get shot than any Trump supporters get shot. Good morning, Hammer Time. Hammer time. MC's in the house, by the way. Hi, Zach Osborne. Without people trying to figure out how to reverse the brainwashing. It seems that you've been brainwashed by the media because you believe all the bullshit you just said. I mean, for Christ's sakes, conservatives are literally giving themselves COVID just to own the libs? What the bloody hell are you talking about? They're dying in COVID wards, insisting they don't have COVID because it must be a liberal plot. Evidence? Give me an example of someone who said that. Give me one example of someone who said that. The virus don't give a fuck about your political affiliation. And I guarantee you, probably half those people that are dead in nursing homes in New York State probably voted for lefties. Probably would have voted for Joe Biden. Hello, the one who. How you doing? Anna Lynn, how you doing too? You know, oh my God. And no, of course, I'm not advocating re-education camps. Really, what are you advocating then, David? Or anything like that. The point is that conservative infotainment is disinformation propaganda indistinguishable from cult programming, and social media algorithms enable it. No, people just make up their own damn minds about things. You don't think CNN's brainwashing people? You don't think Rachel Maddow talking about Russia every night for almost 3 years has programmed people into believing that there was actually a conspiracy by Vladimir Putin with Donald Trump to buy $200,000 of Facebook ads that changed the election in 2016? You don't think that sounds absurd? But you know how many people actually believe that shit? Talk about programming. I have relatives who watch nothing but MSNBC for news, and they still don't even know that they don't have any evidence of anything, of collusion between Trump and Russia. You talk about programming, or the coordinated effort between the news media to decide what is good information and what's not, what needs a disclaimer on Twitter and Facebook. You don't think that's programming? Give me a break. And then he says, and yes, it might be healthy to break the spell of the cult programming by showing COVID wards, the kids in cages. Oh, the kids in cages. Yeah, let's talk about those kids in cages again. You mean the pictures they took during the Obama administration when there were kids in the processing wards with chain link fence in the border processing places? Those pictures from the Obama administration that they used to talk about kids in cages? Are you kidding me? You know, the kids who are now in dormitories with schools being taught English and math and science, and they go to school. Oh, maybe you're talking about the kids who are still separated from their parents. Oh, except they didn't come here with their parents probably were sold to someone to get across the border, and then when they were separated, that's why you wonder why you think just maybe the reason they can't find those kids' parents is because those kids' parents don't know where they are. They don't know that they're in the United States. They probably thought they were stolen. Or their parents might be dead and those kids have been trafficked back and forth, used as little insurance policies, because it used to be able to get across the border and have a kid with you, and they'd like, oh, well, we'll just let you go. Will they stop doing that? What do you think? Really, what do you think? What else do you say? And other victims. Victims of what? And consequences of the conservative infotainment cult on the local news, the newspaper, social media, etc., so that the people see what they have done. Get the fuck out of here. Good morning to the Dogfather, 76 Entertainment. Good morning, TC Ball. Nice to have you here. By the way, again, if you're not subscribed yet and you're here, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell. Also, hit the like button while you're thinking about it. I'll remind you periodically, but I like to keep my like ratio up if you can. And except for the one dislike by the only person who's allowed to do the dislike. Unless you actually dislike what we do. If you actually do, I'm fine if you hit the dislike. If you don't like what I do, hit the dislike button. That's fine. And argue with me in the chat. I'll even take that. I appreciate when people sometimes I need to keep my knives sharp. Kind of like stabbing Joe Scarborough. And you can't it's easier to sharpen iron with other iron. So if you're smart and you have something smart to say that disagrees with what I say, please put it in the chat. But anyway, this is this big fat FTG to this guy. So anyway, here's the article. California Democrats regional director. He's the California Democrats regional director. Suggests Wednesday that President Donald Trump supporters should be deprogrammed through a post-World War II reconstruction tactic. So we read the whole thing. He noted that what he saw, some conservatives were upset by the responses. Okay, we already read all that. His comments come as some media figures and Democrats call for lists. Let's go to the list article here. Call for lists to be made of Trump supporters, suggesting that these lists will be used in the future to hold the president's supporters accountable. Accountable for what, motherfucker? Accountable for the fact that the economy was roaring along until we had the visitor from the far eastern edge of Asia. Is that what accountable for that? Maybe accountable for the fact that unemployment was it's low, basically its lowest ever. Accountable for that, the fact that wages were finally rising. That wage gap, that wealth gap that y'all are fucking always talking about. Yeah, remember how that was shrinking because and especially on the lower end of the scale. Lower income people, their wages were rising for the first time in 20 years? And you didn't even have to raise the minimum wage to do it. Oh my God, amazing that you didn't have to do that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, suggesting these lists be used in the future to hold president supporters accountable. Liberal media figures are also pushing post-elect Biden to take aggressive approaches to censoring conservative media, particularly Fox News. Interesting though, Fox is kind of coming to heel lately. Have you noticed that? Good morning, Cynical Lindsay. How you doing? Yeah, they're kind of. It's weird that all of a sudden their news division and everything, and even Tucker last night. I was scratching my head a little bit, but. It's almost like there's an edict coming down. It's weird. It is really weird. DF, if you choose willful ignorance about the trafficking and abuse of children in relation to the border, your IQ is a negative and can't be elevated by any amount of education. Right. The trafficking of kids and using the coyotes basically selling kids to take across the border so you have a better chance of being able to stay. Fuck that. And guess what? If you commit any other crime in the United States of America and you go to jail, you're going to be separated from your children. Sorry, and crossing the border illegally is a crime. And so I feel awful for the children who get stuck in that situation that their parents either put them in or their parents who lost them. Some of them sold their kids to the coyotes for that purpose. And I feel awful for those kids. And maybe there is something we can do for those kids. But to pretend that the problem is not the government doing it is just, it's insanity. It's freaking insanity. Good morning, Duncan. No, they don't want to imprison children. But the kids are ending up in these, just these facilities. It's like, similar to orphanages where they have dormitories and they have beds and they have school and they, a lot of them probably have no idea who their parents are anymore. It's unfortunate. It sucks. It's an awful situation, but it's not our government that created that situation. Anyway, there's no question that Democrats are gearing up to use their power to apply far more pressure than ever to Facebook, Google, Twitter, etc. to censor my views they deem threatening, journalist Glenn Greenwald tweeted Monday, referencing comments made by former President Barack Obama about controlling the internet. Yeah, that was insanity too. With a combination of government regulations and corporate practices. See, that's the problem I get nervous about when they start saying I know they're fighting the tech companies. I think they need to be very careful because if they do it incorrectly, they're going to make it worse. And you know how sometimes government regulation makes things worse. Oh, yes, that happens. Anyway, Glenwald continued, please look at what's going on here. Democrats are defining whoever opposes them not as adversaries, but national security threats, fascist terrorists, and I'll add a threat to democracy. You keep hearing that over and over. Well, not facilitating the transition immediately is a threat to democracy. How? Let's say we figure out that President Trump did lose. Let's just use that hypothetical. like how I use that. Let's talk about that hypothetical. Is there time to transition to the new government? I mean, when do you have to start the transition? Because technically, if this were deadlocked and they still didn't have the results of the election until, say, December 12th, or until the electoral college votes, is it January 5th? Do you think there'd still be a possible transition? I mean, how much time do they need to be briefed on foreign policy issues? I mean, can't you just kind of look around the world and figure some of this shit out? Okay, yes, there's some classified information they get, but that's okay, they'll figure it out. You know, Al Gore, until December 13th, 2000, we didn't know what was going on with the election until then, and we still had a transition. Okay, now the Clinton administration briefed both sides. Well, I'm pretty sure when the GSA says it's time to start briefing the other side or Joe Biden's team, whether they know whether he won or not, they'll start doing that. The General Services Administration, that's their thing. It's not the Trump administration. So they need to fucking cool their jets. Good morning, infamous one, Spambot20, the gayest person on YouTube. Those are two different people, Spambot20 and the gayest person on YouTube, two different people. So anyway, just a couple of those other articles referenced though. Here's one of them. Hang on here, let me make it fit. Oh, what to do there? Holy moly. All right. We have a list. Pundits and Democrats plan to hold Trump supporters accountable. This is an oldie but goodie from last week. Several media figures and Democrats have called for a list to be made of President Donald Trump's sycophants and supporters following the presidential election, suggesting that these lists will be used in the future to hold the president's supporters accountable. Yay! Is anyone archiving this is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, is anyone archiving these Trump sycophants for when they try to downplay their or deny their complicity in the future? Fuck you, bitch. I foresee a decent probability of many deleted tweets, writings, photos in the future. Thank you, God Emperor of Duncan, for our second donation of the day through YouTube Super Chat, which is you can click right there in the YouTube thing. He said, the AP has called dibs on determining the election. Yeah, well, Fox News beat him to it, though. Remember that? Which is kind of weird. But anyway, thank you, God Emperor of Duncan. I greatly appreciate the support. So, yeah, that was the article. There's a whole bunch of other ones on there. Also, This one, liberal media suggests Biden take an aggressive approach to censoring conservative media. Wow. I could have sworn that would be, what's that word? Excuse me. I need a sip of coffee. Hang on. What's that word? Taking an aggressive approach to censoring conservative media. There's a word for that. Unconstitutional. That's fuck off. I'm swearing a lot today. I'm not going to be monetized today. That's okay. We'll just go with that. Good morning, Sapphire Dragon. What's up? So, by the way, Gunfox61, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day. I forgot to tell you. Anyway, so liberal media figures and outlets are suggesting that Joe Biden should take an aggressive approach to conservative media when he becomes president of the United States. Well, maybe. There's an outside possibility that will never happen. Anyway, fascism? No, I was thinking unconstitutional. But fascism, that fits too. But remember, if you didn't vote for Joe Biden, you're the fascist. That's a public service announcement. If you didn't vote for Joe Biden, you're a fascist conspiracy theorist. Just trying to remind you here. Keep it real, right? There's no question that Democrats are gearing up to use their new power to apply far more pressure than ever on Facebook, Google, Twitter, etc. to censor any views they deem threatening. Journalist Glenn Greenwald tweeted Monday, referencing comments made by former President Barack Obama about controlling the internet with a combination of government regulations and corporate practices. Yes, I know I've read that part before, but that's okay. It's Go Fuck Yourself Friday. Yeah! That's a good idea, D.I. I should think about that one. Anyway, please look at what's going on here. Greenwald continued. Democrats are defining whoever opposes them, not as adversaries, but as national security threats, fascist terrorists, all to justify blocking them from the internet using their influence with Silicon Valley. The Intercept founder added that CNN, NBC, and The Atlantic are the outlets that are most loudly demanding that disinformation be suppressed through these outlets, though these outlets are the ones who not only sold the bullshit of the Iraq war, but also the last 4 years of deranged Russia took over conspiracy theory insanity. They want their discourse monopoly back, Greenwald said. That's exactly what it is, man. Obey, believe what we say, or we're going to ruin you. Call Fox what it is, an extension of the Republican Party. His comments come the same day that Crooked Media founder Tommy Vietor, I don't know how you say his name, published a piece explaining why Joe Biden must sideline Fox. Vietor lamented that Fox News is treated as a legitimate news organization. They are, dickhead. And says that Biden's team should approach Fox News with eyes, not arms, wide open. Call Fox what it is, an extension of the Republican Party, Vietor wrote. Say it often, repetitive messaging works. Just ask lying Ted and low-energy Jeb. Reject the absurd insistence that the network has a real news division. Well, listen here, motherfucker. I can't stop swearing today. I don't know what it is. Look, just because they don't toe your line doesn't mean that they can't have a line in the water. Bitch.
Gotcha, bitch.
The Crooked Media founder argued that Biden's team should give his own publication and other news outlets like The Nation scoops and access to help grow their audience and influence the way Trump's team has nurtured fringe rags like Newsmax and OAN. Okay, we'll do whatever you want. Give them exclusives or whatever. No one gives a shit. But the idea that you're going to throttle the other networks with, hit pieces by Oliver Darcy and Brian Stelter and dickheads at the Wall Street Journal. GFY. Yes. What was that you said, DI Freedom Watcher? GFY. Yeah. Go GFYS. Yeah. It's GFYS Friday. Anyway, all right. So, all right, you guys get the gist. Anyway, FTG to all of those people. I'm sorry, just FTG. We have another donation. Thank you, Purple Pill Perspective with the big 5 spot on Streamlabs, which is in the description down below, who says, I was watching Monkey in the morning and I went to take a sip of coffee out of my 2020 FFS mug and suddenly remembered you were live. Happy Friday and good morning, PDawg and chat people. Well, thank you, Purple Pill Perspective. By the way, I don't have one on me, but you in the description down below is both my Streamlabs merchandise link and actually, if you go to PDawgKnight.live, right here, this down here, at PDawgKnight.live, there's a link there that says merch. If you want to get a 2020 FFS mug or t-shirt or hat, you can get those there. Also, the Teespring link down in the description down below. Also, I have in fact, maybe I have one on me. Oh, I don't have it. I also have a 2020, for fuck's sake, face mask for wearing out in the world of face diapers for the koof. So there you go. Oh, and I am designing some new merch. I'm going to start designing shirts. I have one in particular because I was thinking, I don't know what made me think of this one, but someone said something about being old, and I thought, I'm not old. I'm just chronologically gifted. So there you go. And so I'm gonna have a whole new line of chronologically gifted shirts, cups, mugs, whatever merchandise. So anyway, all right. Oh, and there's also a 2020 FFF sticker, car emblem you can put wherever, and that's on the Teespring link. So there you go. All right, let's move forward. And on this line, here's the other one that I thought of. But before I do that, let me thank a few people. Thank you, Tyler F, Maddie, Cindy Rochelle, Scribe Light, Becca Fairley, and Maddie again, because Maddie usually tweets out the show a couple different times. I appreciate all you guys who share the stream. Down there's an arrow. It's a little hooked arrow, hooked never mind, that says share. And if you click that arrow, you can share the show out on your favorite social media, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever, Reddit, and LinkedIn, and all that shit. And you can share it too with your friends and neighbors. And then also, you can follow me on that way. Twitter, mine's Gavin Parler, and just retweet or repost whatever I put up there. And you can share the show out, and more people will come. It'll be a lot more fun. Thank you, John Arnott, with the $2 donation through Super Chat with no message, but thank you very much. Feel free to put a message or write your own commercial. Remember, if you're doing donations, if you're sponsor donations, anyway, write an ad for a sponsor, and it's got to be. Oh, you know what we didn't do? I'm sorry, we didn't rate Gunfox61's ad. Now I feel bad. We're supposed to rate the ads from 1 to 10. And I'm gonna be a little more prudent with my rating system. 5 is average, and then when you go up to 10, those are better, and they go down to 0 is not better. And so here I'm gonna read Gunfox's ad one more time because we didn't rate them, and I meant to tell you to rate it. So here's Gunfox's ad from earlier. Antifa and BLM members keep looting your stores, and the city don't do a damn thing about it. We fear not. American Rubber Products has your back. With great American-made 100% rubber and rock salt rounds, show those looters your might with American Rubber. All right, thank you, Gunfox61, again for writing that ad. I appreciate that very much. All right, let me do my quick commercial thing, and then we will be right back with the show. I'll be back in about 1 minute. Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it. You're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at the Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show. All right, and we are back on this funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. So I want to get back into the TDS and the solutions that some who don't agree with the president think are applicable. So here's this article on, well, the former president of the United States, one of them, that would be President Barack Obama, had a little speech the other day. This is what they were talking about in this other article, where he said the internet is the single biggest threat to our democracy. Yes, because people having their own opinions and own thoughts and being able to just say whatever they want is a threat to our democracy. Yes, everything that they don't like is now a threat to our democracy. That's the new dog whistle. Okay, and people get deplatformed and demonetized and unable to do payment processing, and whenever they start talking about you being a threat to their to their version of democracy, let's just put it that way. Back in 2008, Barack Obama famously harnessed the internet and social media to help win the White House. He kept up the embrace once he got there. Now he worries that the internet and social media have helped create the single biggest threat to our democracy. I can't even say it without laughing. Obama has been saying a version of this for 4 years, since he left the White House, but his words are getting steadily more pointed. He's clearly sounding an alarm, but it's not exactly clear what he thinks we should do about it. Thank you, Maddie, with the $2 donation through Streamlabs, and another show sponsor, a new show sponsor. This show is brought to you by Thoughts Be Gone, the starter kit for the anti-brainwashed in your family. Learn to fight feelings with facts and use your middle finger more effectively. Get your kit today. Thank you, Maddie. That's a great ad. I like that one. Judges, put a scale of 1 to 10, 10 high, 1 low. I'm going to go with, let's see. I'm going to give it an 8. There we go. Thank you, Maddie, for the donation today. So Obama's latest critique comes in a new interview between Obama and Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg. And before we go any further, we should put it in full context. Obama was discussing a media landscape dominated not just by Facebook, but by Fox News that allows Americans to choose their own distorted reality, which means he says we no longer have a shared set of facts. Now, what's fascinating about this? What is fascinating about that, even that context? A media landscape dominated not just by Facebook, but by Fox News. Now, how is the media landscape dominated by Fox News? Yes, Fox News had, and I said had, not has, had the highest ratings of any news network, right? However, they don't, dominated by Fox News? Wait a minute, when ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, The Nation, New York Times, Washington Post, all these other outlets combined, all saying the same shit, because basically they all pull their stories from the Washington Post, have a far greater reach than Fox News by leaps and bounds. It's not even close. But Fox News has a tiny share of the market. If you're talking about market share of all the media, even though Fox News has the largest audience, it has a tiny market share because everyone else is saying the same shit. Basically, everything you read in the Washington Post. Thank you, Scotty Dubs, who says with the 556, and that's a marker if you know what I mean. Through Super Chat, who says we should round up all these leftist commies before they try to round us up. You know, the left is always beating us to the punch. No pun intended.
China is an asshole.
I don't know why China's asshole got in there, but anyway, yeah, they're. The problem is if they keep pushing this crazy rhetoric, there are going to be some people who start thinking that way. Well, we might as well round them up before they round us up. I don't want that either. I just want to be able to live in a place where I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. We can have different answers to the same question or different proposals to the same problem and be able to work it out. And if it works out that we end up using your proposal, well, we'll find out if it works. And if your proposal doesn't work, then let's use my proposal. That's kind of how the country works. But it's getting to a point where we have to obey or be silenced, or both. Or how do we deprogram all these people who don't agree with us, who don't do what we think is right? Re-educate this motherfucker. That's the name of the stream. Hello, Special K on acid. So anyway, back to this Barack Obama thing. His latest critiques comes in a new interview between Obama and Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg. And before we go any further, we should put it in full context. Obama was discussing a media landscape dominated not just by Facebook, but by Fox News that allows Americans to choose their own distorted reality, which means he says we no longer have a shared set of facts. Thank you, Wyndham Web. I can't even say that with another 556. Well, you know what a 556 is. Wyndham Weaponry, spreading freedom since 2011. Well, that's a nice ad, and that's a great sponsor. Wyndham Weaponry. God. I feel like Elmer Fudd trying to say that. Holy crap. Wyndham Weaponry. That's so fucking hard to say. Try saying that. Say Wyndham Weaponry 5 times as fast as you can. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, thank you, Wyndham Weaponry, a new sponsor of the Morning Night Live. Good morning to you, ridiculous lunatic too. Or you are a ridiculous lunatic. Good God. He meant Pornhub. Okay, so anyway, now it's funny because this is Rico. I don't know what the hell. Oh, Vox. This is from Vox. This is a Vox article. Oh my God. That explains why they seem to be agreeing with this. That assessment is now conventional wisdom that Americans choose their own distorted reality. That assessment is now conventional wisdom among many critics of the TV and internet ecosystem. There's almost no practical constructive argument about how we should respond to that problem. The problem that we don't agree on shit. That's no wonder this is a Vox article. I didn't even look at where the article came from. There's almost no practical constructive argument about how we should report that problem. Obama doesn't offer one in this interview either. And again, it's incorrect to say that Obama is laying the problems of our broken information landscape solely at the feet of Facebook. Yeah, they're going full bore on Facebook. They want Facebook to obey and and just ban all these conservatives, or at least their viewpoints. Just, you need to, whatever. Oh, Wyndham weaponry. Yeah, give Wyndham weaponry. You know what? I'm sorry. That one is that's good because I can't say it. Say it 5 times fast. Wyndham weaponry. Wyndham weaponry. Wyndham weaponry. My name is Elma J. Fudd. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Anyway, so here's Obama. You have a situation in which large swaths of the country generally believe that the Democratic Party is a front for a pedophile ring. I was talking to a volunteer who was going door to door in Philadelphia in low-income African-American communities and was getting questions about QAnon conspiracy theories. Really, were ya? You know who? The only reason QAnon is even known, a known entity, an actual known entity, is because the media is so scared. Goldberg, is this new malevolent form? Now, and even this question from Goldberg, is this new malevolent information architecture bending the moral arc away from justice? What the fuck kind of question is that? So Goldberg sees this as an evil plot. And he's talking about conspiracy theories. It's an evil plot bending the moral arc away from justice. What justice? What justice are you asking about, Goldberg? Not that Goldberg. Goldberg. Not the wrestling Goldberg. I mean, that question in itself tells you how they're framing this. A moral arc away from justice? What justice? What is justice to you, Goldberg? I think it's the single biggest threat to our democracy. Later in the interview, Obama makes it quite clear that much of his concern is specifically about the internet, which he is also quite clear isn't going away. Well, damn right it's not going away. And the big flat platforms that sort and distribute most of the internet for most people. Oh, so Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, right? I don't hold the tech companies entirely responsible because this predates social media. But I was already there. But social media has turbocharged it. I know most of these folks. I've talked about them. The degree to which these companies are insisting that they are more like a phone company than they are like The Atlantic, I do not think it's tenable. They are making editorial choices, whether they've buried them in algorithms or not. Because they do bury some of what you write in algorithms. The First Amendment doesn't require private companies to provide a platform for any view that is out there. At the end of the day, we're going to have to find a combination of government regulations and corporate practices that address this, because it's going to get worse. If you can perpetrate crazy lies and conspiracy theories just with text, imagine what you could do when you make it look like you or me are saying anything on video. We're pretty close to that now. Fuck you, Obama. Okay, this channel's going down. I know it. It's that famous Steve Bannon strategy. Flood the zone with shit. Yeah. See, Steve Bannon is one of their boogeymen. Obama, that's Goldberg saying that. Obama, if we do not have the capacity to distinguish what is true from what's false, then by definition, the marketplace of ideas doesn't work. And by definition, our democracy doesn't work. We are entering an epistemological crisis. Fucking blow me. How about we do the Socratic method, where everyone gets to say what they want to say, and then we all sort it out by ourselves. Fuck you. Anyway, thank you, God Emperor of Duncan, with another $2. Today's show is brought to you by Big Emerson. When you pull them out, make them say, Emerson Big Ones. Yes. Class, rate that one between 1 and 10. I'll do it again. Today's show is brought to you by Big Emerson. When you pull them out, make them say, Emerson Big Ones. All right, that's Russian judge gives it a 9. All right. Anyway, so Obama's trying to get the internet to censor more as opposed to censor less. Also, in the TDS realm, the Atlanta mayor suggests that Trump would eat his own children to advance an agenda. Oh, she is special, isn't she? During an appearance on CNN Wednesday, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms trying so hard not to make a joke. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms ripped President Trump as she discussed 2 runoff elections in Georgia coming in January that will decide which political party controls the U.S. Senate. Host Anderson Cooper asked Bottoms if Trump... Wait a minute. Anderson Cooper had a conversation with Bottoms? Shocker. Oh, good Lord. By the way, I forgot to say that Wyndham Weaponry...
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Host Anderson Cooper asked Bottoms if Trump continued claims of voter fraud is intended to rile up his base to get them to the Georgia polls in January. How do you think it plays electorally? Cooper asked. This has been frustrating. This has been a fascinating year, especially if you watch politics, Bottoms said. To even see the Republican president turn on the Republican Secretary of State of Georgia, whom he endorsed. And if you watch his Twitter feed, he'll turn on anybody if the situation warrants, it seems, Cooper said. He will eat his own children, I'm sure, if he found it prudent, Bottoms said. But he is now picking a fight with Brian Kemp, also the governor who he was closely aligned with. And so it is my hope that even if people do not vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that they will be so disappointed and disgusted by this behavior. As you look at the transition, the lack of transition that's happening, you look at our COVID numbers that are rising in the state and across the country, there's so many reasons not to be supportive of Donald Trump at this point and any candidates who are aligned with him. Yeah, whatever. So it is my hope when people go back to the polls on January 5th, they will remember that because in Georgia, Joe Biden got a nice portion of Republican-leaning votes in this state, and also many independent swing voters in this state went for Joe Biden, and it is our hope that will happen on January 5th. Well, it depends on how many dead people vote, too, because you definitely have a quarter on the dead vote. So anyway, FTG to Ms. Bottoms. Oh, and then also at Berkeley, imagine that, Berkeley professor compares Trump supporters to Germans under Nazi rule. Oh, that is so original. Oh, it is so original. A visiting professor at the University of California, Berkeley, compared President Donald Trump's supporters to Germans who turned a blind eye to the Holocaust. Yes, it's just like that right now, isn't it? I mean, exactly, everything exactly like Germany. Joyce Carol Oates, an author and English professor, said Trump supporters treat the coronavirus pandemic with indifference, much like Germans who submitted to Nazi rule. In a tweet on Thursday, she said, for many pro-Trump Americans, apparently she's another one of those people who refuse to say his name, the pandemic is like the Holocaust to many Germans. They knew what was happening, but adjusted to living with it in indifference, or in some cases, profiting from it. Oh my gosh! Profiting from it. Maybe like the pharmaceutical companies, are they profiting from the Holocaust? God, oh my God, it's embarrassing. But adjusted to living with it in indifference, in some cases profiting. Only if affected personally do people seem to care. No, we care, but there's more to this than just... Oh, God. Anyway, Oates, an outspoken atheist and ardent supporter ardent opponent of religion, came under fire for a 2013 tweet in which she linked the predominant religion of Egypt, Islam, to the country's high rates of sexual harassment and rape. Oh my God, she said something bad about Islam? Well, she is a peach. Oates taught at Princeton University from 1978 to 2014 before moving in 2016 to Berkeley, where she offered creative writing courses to students. Well, her tweet was pretty creative. Over her 6 decades-long career, she has written more than 70 fiction and nonfiction books, as well as short stories and poetry. She has been a Pulitzer Prize finalist 5 times. Well, there you go. Thank goodness that she is such an accomplished writer. Let's move into a little something different here. The top Republicans in the House Oversight Committee have written a letter. They've written a stern letter to the chairwoman demanding investigations into violence against Trump supporters at the MAGA March. Yeah, you notice how that just went away so fast? All the news about that. Of course, granted, they are concentrating on what the president's doing right now. Top Republicans on the House Oversight Committee have reportedly requested hearings to look into the violence against President Donald Trump's supporter at the Million MAGA March held Saturday in Washington, D.C. House Oversight Committee ranking member James Comer, Republican Georgia Representative Judy Heiss, and Republican Texas Representative Chip Roy wrote a letter to Chairman Carolyn Maloney asking her to investigate the violence that occurred in the nation's capital, as over 20 people were arrested during brawls throughout the city, Fox News first reported. We respectfully request a hearing for the violence directed at supporters of President Trump on November 14, 2020, the three wrote in a letter to Maloney. These supporters were exercising their First Amendment right to peacefully assemble within the District of Columbia. The failure of the city's leaders to afford basic protections to persons who may hold different political viewpoints from their own appear to be another concerning example of viewpoint discrimination by the district, they continued. Now, again, this is... Oh, 3 House Oversight Republicans also called out Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser for her silence on the violence in the city, Fox News reported. A couple more super chats coming in here, just a second here. Okay, well, then we know that thousands of Trump supporters were in D.C. and they were attacked often, and there were several altercations until the Proud Boys came in and kind of cleaned up the mess. All right. Thank you, Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
For the $5 donation through Super Chat, who says, a new sponsor. A new sponsor. This show is sponsored by Brain Vision. Want to fuel your alternate reality fix? Then this is the product for you for 3 easy payments of $5.99. All right. So thank you to our new sponsor, Brain Vision. Also, Gunfox61 with the $2 donation, another sponsor of the show. This is one of our recurring sponsors. American Bats, proud sponsor of the PDawg Knight show. When you need a bat for anything from shields, walls, baseballs, or more, and more. I'm sorry, I blew that. I'm going to start this one over because this is one of our recurring sponsors, American Bats, and we do appreciate American Bats. American Bats, proud sponsor of the PDawg Knight show. When you need a bat for anything from shields, walls, baseballs, and more, think American Bats. Mob approved. Thank you again.
China is asshole.
Sorry, I keep hitting that China is asshole button. Thank you, both Alexa Boy and Gunfox61. We'll rate Select a Boy's ad first, and then we'll come back and do Gunfox's afterwards. So rate Select a Boy's ad. I'm gonna give that one. We're still in the above average range here for that one. All right, let's go on to the next story. We got lots more, and I've got a lot of time too. That's good. All right, so let's get into the events from yesterday because I know people want to talk about that. So the Trump team, the legal team, had a press conference yesterday talking about their intentions to contest the election. They believe they have some evidence, and they came out and talked about it. And so we're going to give you some updates on those three things. All right, so pretty much the 6, 7, 8 range for Selected Boy. Now the American Bats sponsor. Go ahead and rate that. They're a recurring sponsor, so I kind of tend to be a little more generous to our recurring sponsors, and so there you go. All right. So yesterday, Sidney Powell made an impassioned plea and is planning on taking care of some business here. She said, this is a stunning, heartbreaking, infuriating, and even most unpatriotic acts I can imagine. Trump attorney Sidney Powell, who's part of the legal team investigating allegations of voter fraud, laid out what she called the most unpatriotic acts I can imagine involving Dominion voting system. This is what she said. I already read this part, but I'll read it again. This is stunning, heartbreaking, and infuriating, and the most unpatriotic acts I can even imagine for the people in this country to have participated in any way, shape, or form. And I want the American public to know right now that we will not be intimidated. American patriots are fed up with the corruption from the local level to the highest levels of our government, and we are going to take this country back, she said. Tell you what, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this article in the chat, and you can follow up on it on your own. I want to go into what the main points that what these people came up. And so here's the Breitbart article: 9 key points from the Trump campaign press conference on challenges to the election results. So here are the main things. Rudy Giuliani and other lawyers representing President Donald Trump's campaign outlined their case Thursday that the November 3rd presidential elections was so deeply flawed in several key states that the results should be overturned in the president's favor. Giuliani said there's a pattern to the alleged irregularities in key states that suggested, he said, a plan from a centralized place to commit voter fraud in cities controlled by Democrats. I would say election fraud. I would have rephrased that, not voter fraud, but election fraud. So here are the 9 key points. Number 1, observers were allegedly prevented from watching mail-in ballots being opened. Giuliani said that many mail-in ballots were opened without observers being able to check that they were properly signed, a key protection against fraud. Those votes, he said, were null and void, especially where the envelopes had been discarded, making recounts useless. Number 2, allegedly unequal application of the law in Democratic counties. In Pennsylvania, whose state Supreme Court created new relaxed voting rules before the election, Giuliani alleged that absentee voters in Democratic counties were allowed to cure defects in their ballots, while voters in Republican counties, which obeyed the state law as written, were not. Number 3, voters allegedly arrived at the polls to discover other people had voted for them. Giuliani said that many provisional ballots cast in Pittsburgh were submitted by people who showed up to vote in person only to be told that they had voted already. He alleged that Democrats had filled out absentee ballots for other people, hoping they would not show up. Number 4, election officials were allegedly told not to look for defects in ballots and to backdate ballots. Giuliani cited an affidavit from an official who swore she was told not to exclude absentee ballots for defects and to backdate ballots so they would not appear to have been received after Election Day to avoid a Supreme Court order to sequester those ballots. Thank you, God Emperor of Duncan, with the donation through Streamlabs. Today's program is brought to you by Epstein's tissue paper. Today's program is brought to you by Epstein tissue paper bed sheets, also useful as a tie, cravat, or neckerchief. So comfortable, even your 24/7 observation guards will fall asleep. That one, rate that one, folks. I'm giving that one a 10. That's awesome. So comfortable, even your 24/7 observation guards will fall asleep. Okay, nice. Well done. The fifth item on this list, ballots casting votes for Joe Biden and no other candidates were allegedly run several times through machines. Giuliani said that there were 60 witnesses in Michigan who would attest to ballots being produced quickly and counted twice or thrice. He said that a minimum of 60,000 ballots and a maximum of 100,000 ballots were allegedly effective. Number 6, absentee ballots were accepted in Wisconsin without being applied for first. Giuliani noted that Wisconsin state law was stricter regarding absentee ballots than most other states are, yet he alleged that 60,000 absentee ballots were counted in the Milwaukee area and 40,000 in the Madison area without having been applied for properly by the voters who cast them. Number 7, there were allegedly overvotes, with some precincts allegedly recording more votes than residents, among other problems. Giuliani said there was an unusually large number of overvotes in precincts in Michigan and in Wisconsin, which he alleged was the reason that Republicans on the Wayne County Board of Canvassers had refused to certify the results there this week. He also alleged that there were some out-of-state voters in Georgia and people who had cast votes twice there. Number 8, voting machines and software are allegedly owned by companies with ties to the Venezuelan regime and left-wing donor George Soros. Let me stop for a second for our latest donation. Another donation, $2. Oh, it looks like another sponsor. Didn't get that promotion? Lost an election? Let us help you help them celebrate. Located in sunny Dallas with our fleet of convertible Cadillacs and eagle-eyed guides, we can arrange a tour through our streets. We'll pull the trigger so you don't have to. Yes, Grassy Knolls Tours. That's Grassy Knolls Tours. Good Lord, that's dark. I'm sorry, I apologize. Forgot to name the company first. Yes, this is Grassy Knoll Tours. Didn't get that promotion, lost an election? Let us help you help them celebrate. Located in sunny Dallas with our fleet of convertible Cadillacs and eagle-eyed guides, we can arrange a tour through our streets. We'll pull the trigger so you don't have to. Okay, so you don't have, okay. Oh boy, and we've got another sponsor. Big Gun Rubber. I'm just saying, Big Gun Rubber, our latest sponsor. Big Gun Rubber, when you need rubber to fit your needs and fast. Think Big Gun Rubber. I'm gonna let the crowd rate those two. Those are both pretty good. Thank you for our sponsors. You are greatly appreciated. Yes, we have a lot of commercial breaks today. Finally, let's number 8, voting machines and software allegedly owned by companies with ties to the Venezuelan regime and to left-wing donor George Soros. Sidney Powell argued that U.S. votes were being counted overseas and that the Dominion voting machines and Smartmatic software were controlled by foreign interests, manipulating algorithms to change the results. Powell noted specifically that Smartmatic's owners included 2 Venezuelan nationals whom she alleged had ties to the regime of Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro. The legal team alleged that there were statistical anomalies such as huge batches of votes for Biden that could not be explained except as manipulation, which they alleged happened in the wee hours of the morning as vote counting had stalled. The companies have disputed these allegations vigorously. And number 9, the Constitution provides a process for electing a president if the vote is corrupted. Jenna Ellis argued that the media had usurped the power to declare the winner of the election. She made the point, citing Federalist number 68, that the constitutional process of selecting a president had a procedural safeguards against corrupt and foreign influence. Giuliani said that the campaign believed that enough votes were flawed, more than double the margins between Biden and Trump in key states, that the president had a path to victory. Giuliani, the president had a path to victory. Giuliani presented evidence in the form of sworn affidavits citing two and noting that the campaign had many more from private individuals. He also noted that several lawsuits that had been dismissed had been filed by private individuals, not the campaign directly. He said lawsuits might be filed in Arizona and that the campaign was also examining irregularities in New Mexico and Virginia, though he said he did not think there were enough disputed votes in the latter. Giuliani also took on the media, arguing that they had provided misleading information and condoned threats against Trump's legal team, which clearly they have. Good morning to Kyra Alexander. Nice to see you. And Thomas Cleaver, what's up? All right, so that's that. Now, I kind of, I am going to be a wait and see. Like I said, put up or shut up, get it into court right away so you can provide evidence. I know that apparently Tucker Carlson wasn't satisfied. I might actually go into that, but I'm not sure. But according to Team Trump, evidence shows more than double the vote margin in swing states from illegal ballots. The Trump campaign lawyers Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and Jenna Ellis gave a blockbuster press conference on Thursday in which they ran down the legal case for the president's repeated claim that he won the 2020 presidential election. Giuliani insisted that the evidence the campaign has collected suggests that more than double the margin of votes required to flip the election in 6 swing states are provably illegal, meaning Trump will have won them when only legal votes are counted. Ellis insisted that the legal challenges are not aimed at reversing the preliminary election results, however, but at restoring election integrity. Hello, Attack Alpaca. Nice to see you. And Uncle Bobby's in the house. What's up? All right. So we already have, we've pretty much gone through all the key points. And if you obviously you can find the entire news conference on the internet pretty easily, so I'm not going to harp on this anymore. But now now the Democrats are, well, according to News Thud, are a little bit shook after Judy's latest announcement about alleged voter fraud, and it's starting to sink in that Trump could win. Now, I you know me, I want to be optimistic, but I also need to be realistic. Until they get the stuff into court and start showing some actual evidence, I'm going to hold my breath. Well, I'm not going to hold my breath because it could kill me. But anyway, Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani laid out the 9 key points suggesting election fraud was a plan from a centralized place. Yes, we just went through those. Democrats and the media started to freak out after the Trump campaign's latest announcement. Number 9, which is the Constitution provides a process for electing a president if the vote is corrupted. That's the one that scares people the most. The Trump campaign presser was not about to attempt to change ballot vote counts. Their plan is to show evidence that massive voter fraud operation took place, and to get the case before the Supreme Court. If the president's team successfully proves point 1 through 8, the case will most certainly end up before the court. CNN reporter Amanda Carpenter was the first crack in the dam. She's starting to realize that Trump may have a viable case. Question: is anyone actually mounting an effective response to Trump's coup attempts? Or are the Democrats just sitting back and essentially hoping that this will all burn out on its own? Yes, this is all legit insane, which makes it extremely easy to refute, so do that. Or do the Dems think the media will do the work for them? The media will try. Outside of Fox, OAN, and Newsmax, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, do you see the problem here? Then she continues, everyone keeps making the same mistake. Oh, Trump is doing back crap crazy stuff. People realize that he will do himself in. It never has worked or will work that way. Sorry for the all caps, but come on!
Come on, man.
For once, Carpenter's right. Trump has beaten the Democrats and the media at their own game throughout his first term. It's clips like the one below that scares the crap out of him. Here's Trudy. This is great.
4 affiants here, those are people who give affidavits, report an incident that under any other circumstances would have been on the front page of all your newspapers if it didn't involve the hatred that you have, the irrational, pathological hatred that you have for the president. What they swear to is that at 4:30 in the morning, a truck pulled up to the Detroit center where they were counting ballots. The people thought it was food, so they all ran to the truck. It wasn't food. It was thousands and thousands of ballots. And the ballots were in garbage cans, they were in paper bags, they were in cardboard boxes, and they were taken into the center. They were put on a number of tables. At that time, they thought all the Republican inspectors had left, all but 2 had, and an employee of Dominion, who we will address a little bit later, Dominion. And here's what they jointly swear to, that every ballot that they could see, everything they could hear, these were ballots for Biden. When they saw a ballot, these were ballots only for Biden, meaning there was no down ticket, just Biden. Many of them didn't have anything on the outer envelope because these ballots were produced very quickly, very swiftly, and they're estimated to be a minimum of 60,000, maximum of 100,000. Many of them were triple counted, which means they were put into the counting machine this way. Once, twice, 3 times. I didn't see that. I don't know that, but for the fact that 3 American citizens are willing to swear to it.
Okay, so that is one of the things they're scared of. The media and Democrats claim this is a grand conspiracy. However, a poll conducted by Politico, 54% of Americans believe that President Trump should not concede and investigate alleged voter fraud. Now that shocks me. I did not know that. Judging by the comments from liberals on social media, the Trump campaign has shaken them up. So there you go. Good. It's time they get shook. It's time they be shook. Look, and I don't know. I just want honest results. And if they find out that maybe there's an explanation for all these just amazing anomalies and they're legit, then fine. Joe Biden's president. I don't care. Well, I care. I really don't want him to be president. But if, like Giuliani said, if it were the other way around, do you think for 1 second that this wouldn't be on the front page of every page in every paper in America? And on that would be every hour, top of the hour, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, CBS, and all the other news readers, the Mockingbird media. Of course it would, because the DNC would be demanding it. But, I don't know. Anyway. I told you yesterday that Michigan Republicans have moved to impeach Gretchen Whitler for exceeding her constitutional duties. I didn't have any details yesterday, but I do have one article today. Michigan House Republicans on Wednesday introduced a resolution calling for the impeachment of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I know I call her Whitler just because it's funny. But anyway, a Democrat who has violated her constitutional oath of office by failing to respect the separation of powers and by exercising powers expressly granted to the legislative branch. But Michigan's Republican House Speaker Lee Chatfield reportedly said he will not take up the resolution, which he called a distraction. Oh, well, I didn't know that part. In a statement, the governor's office said Whitmer doesn't have any time for partisan politics or people who don't wear masks. Well, bitch, please. don't believe in science and don't have a plan to fight this virus. Because there's no plan to fight a virus. It's a virus, you asshole. Right now, she is focused on saving lives. The governor will continue to work hard for all 10 million Michiganders. This is about Michigan versus COVID-19. Governor Whitmer doesn't care if you're a Trump Republican or a Biden Democrat. We're all in this together. House Resolution 324, introduced Wednesday by State Representative Beau Lefebvre, calls for the adoption of 4 articles of impeachment against Governor Gretchen E. Whitmer, citing corrupt conduct and violating her oath of office. Over the course of 8 months, I've watched powerlessly as the governor has used the COVID-19 pandemic as an opportunity to trample over the constitutional rights of Upper Peninsula families and the great people of Michigan, Lefebvre said. For 8 months, the governor has set out on a quest of corruption, exceeding her constitutional duties, disregarding the separation of powers, ignoring the spirit of the Supreme Court ruling, weaponizing the state health department, and rewarding political allies. People are hurting, and it seems as though statewide petitions and costly lawsuits are not sending a strong enough message to the executive office as pleas of Michigan residents continue to be overlooked and the legislature remains excluded from the equation. I am left with no other recourse than to exercise my constitutional authority by invoking articles of impeachment against the governor. This is absolutely the last thing I want to do, but I would be betraying my conscience and oath of office to defend the Michigan Constitution by ignoring such blatant misconduct. Lefebvre says the surge in COVID-19 cases in Michigan and across the country is something we should take seriously. We should all do our part by choosing to wash our hands frequently, wear a mask, and practice social distancing, he said. Lefebvre said he introduced the resolution because the people of Michigan, through their duly elected representatives, deserve a seat at the table when major decisions that impact their lives are made. My colleagues and I are not looking to throw away all of the governor's ideas or replace them with our own. We are simply asking to collaborate, provide input on behalf of our constituents, and receive shareable information to increase communication throughout the communities. And it goes on and on. I'm not going to read any more of it. But interesting, but looks like they're not going to be, there's the ad, by the way, there it is in the chat. Looks like they're not going to be taking it up, even though members did introduce the resolution. So, but the House Speaker seems to be not taking it up. So who knows what's going on with that? But it is interesting that they actually did that. So good for them. It's still not going anywhere, unfortunately. Let's see. In other news, let's see. Trump lawyer Sidney Powell responds to Tucker Carlson, conduct your own investigation. Yeah, this is kind of the Tucker Carlson response, which was interesting. And you probably have already seen it. So here's the Daily Wire article on it. Let me center this a little bit. All right, there we go. Trump lawyer Sidney Powell responds to Tucker Carlson, conduct your own investigation. Trump lawyer Sidney Powell responded to a Fox News co-host Tucker Carlson's segment about her unproven claims regarding voting systems that were... Now, you see, even the Daily Wire is doing this. Unproven claims. Okay. When you're writing a news article, you don't get to determine the status of the claims unless the status has already been adjudicated. But you're getting this, and all these news outlets are doing it. I'm not just the liberal ones. Obviously, Daily Wire is not that either. So, and it's not in quotes that Tucker Carlson said this. Trump lawyer Sidney Powell responded to Fox News host Tucker Carlson's segment about her unproven claims. How about just about her claims regarding voting systems? Because claims are clearly claims, not necessarily fact yet. You don't have to qualify this by unproven. Obviously, if they're claims, it's a style thing, but it's almost like they're trying to they're trying to push the narrative also. Anyway, regarding voting systems that were used in this month's election, saying that Carlton needed to conduct his own investigation. Powell's comments came in response to a segment that Carlton aired earlier in the evening, during which he highlighted the Trump campaign's allegations of voter fraud and urged Powell to come on his show so she could provide evidence to back up the allegations. Carlton said that his show repeatedly asked Powell to come on and that she became angry when she was asked to provide evidence and told the program to stop contacting her. Apparently, Mr. Carlton missed the news conference today, Powell said, despite Carlton airing a portion of her comments during his show. I would continue to encourage him and all journalists to review all the materials we have provided so far and conduct their own investigations. Evidence continues to pour in, but a 5-minute television hit is not my focus now, Powell continued. Collecting evidence and preparing the case are my top priorities. Carlton said that he offered her the entire hour-long show to air her case and present her evidence to the American people, which I would think would be a mistake. Let's take the, well, that's not a good example to say, let's take the O.J. Simpson case. What if they did all their evidence on TV, poisoning the well for the people, and then went to court? No, you don't necessarily have to you don't have to make your evidence public if you're preparing for a trial. I don't understand now I get if you want to give some snippets, maybe they should, but don't try it in public. Try it in the courts, okay? Don't try it in public. So this is just someone tweeting her response. And I don't know. You can go back and watch Carlson's show. But he I think what he did, and I don't know, I really just don't understand what's going on. Him saying that, she hasn't proved it to me. She isn't making her case to the American people. This is going to be a court case. You probably want to keep the powder dry because you don't necessarily want the defense to know what your case is either, even though there will probably be some discovery if there is a case. But anyway. So yeah, they just continue showing Carlton's segment here, so I'm not going to keep going on that. It's that time. Goodness gracious, I did not even pay attention. Let's see. A lot of this we've read already, so I'm going to call it a day, guys. Now there's a smidgen of a possibility that I will do a Saturday Night Live tomorrow, or maybe even a Sunday Night Live on Sunday. But I'm not sure because my weekend is fair to middling, so to speak. I got to make some pre-made leftovers for Thanksgiving because that's what we do in our family. We cook an entire Thanksgiving dinner the weekend before Thanksgiving and package out leftovers for everyone who's going to be there. And this year we're actually going to take that and deliver some of our Thanksgiving meals on Wednesday so that those who can't be at our Thanksgiving meal this year can eat along with us, because we're only going to have my daughter or my son and his significant other and maybe my mother-in-law or Lila's going to be able to make it this year. So we're going to do kind of a virtual Thanksgiving with them and some of our other friends. So I got to do some cooking this weekend. That's what I'm trying to say in this very longly worded ending. Oh my gosh, today is Transgender Day of Remembrance. Oh, I don't even know what that means. What's going on Twitter right now? Oh, good God. And of course, you go onto Twitter and of course, look up here on the right-hand side of this page. What's happening on Twitter? There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud in the U.S. election. Fact checkers confirm following Trump campaign press conference. Twitter is demanding that you obey. Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and other members of his campaign legal team, including Attorney Sidney Powell held a press conference on Thursday to give updates on their team's effort to legally contest the results of the 2020 presidential election. Journalists and fact checkers. You know, the fact checkers? You mean the oh my God, fact checkers. But PolitiFact maybe? Snopes? The Washington Post? Yeah, they're the best fact checkers on the planet. Journalists and fact checkers including some from Fox News, said that many of the claims made about voter fraud and technology were false. How do they know? Do they have evidence that nobody else has? How about you wait until see what they come up with evidence? And if they don't have evidence, then you could say it's false. But until you see what their evidence is that they say they have, you don't know. Now, let's just say as I've said before, being somewhat realistic, thinking that it's not going to change the election results, but I'm optimistic, kind of thinking maybe if they have something, they'll flop it on the table like a bad pizza delivery porno. But until then, you can't make definitive statements unless you have evidence that contradicts their evidence, which you haven't seen yet. Just saying. Hello, Zero the Hero, by the way. And Mr. No, how you doing? So, yeah. Journalists and fact checkers. If I add in Democrats, that would make it even more redundant. Freaking Twitter. Edward Norton is trending? Son of former federal prosecutor shares his thoughts on why Donald Trump has yet to concede. Well, God, thank God. Oh my God, I was waiting for this. I could not wait to find out Edward Norton's opinion on American politics. My God, what does Edward Norton have to say? He says, I'm no political pundit, but I grew up with a dad who was a federal prosecutor, and he taught me a lot. Yeah, did you go to law school, Edward? I doubt it. I've also sat a fair amount of poker with serious players, and I'll say this, I do not think Trump is trying to make his base happy or laying the groundwork for his own network. Well, let's see the rest of this thread. What does Edward Norton think? Let's finish with what Edward Norton thinks. Thank you, Cindy Bishop, for subscribing. Welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy it, and hope you're here often for the Morning Night Live. And I really am going to start making videos again. I've got 3 in my head, just haven't done it. I don't think Trump is trying to make his base happy or laying the groundwork for his own network, or that chaos is what he loves. The core of it is that he knows he's in deep multi-dimensional legal jeopardy, and this defines his every action. We're seeing a tactical delay of the transition to buy time for cover-up and evidence suppression. So Edward Norton has a conspiracy theory, and it's leading on Twitter. Yay! 2, above all, a desperate endgame, which is to create enough chaos and anxiety about a peaceful transfer of power and fear of irreparable damage to the system that he can cut a Nixon-style deal in exchange for finally conceding. But he doesn't have the cards. His bluff after the flop has been called in court. His turn card bluff will be an escalation, and his river card bluff could be really ugly, but they have to be called. We cannot let this mobster bully the U.S. into a deal to save his ass by threatening our democracy. There's those words again. Threatening our democracy. That's the dog whistle. Do you think this is... Oh, gosh, I'm already running over. That is his play, but he's got junk in his hands, so call him. I will allow that he is also a whiny, sulky, petulant, grinchy, vindictive little 10-ply super soft bitch who no doubt is just throwing a wicked pout fest and trying to give a tiny hand middle finger to the whole country for pure spite without a single thought for the dead and dying. Yes, Edward, you're so prolifically profound. But his contemptible, treasonous, seditious assault on the stability of our political compact isn't about 2024, personal enrichment, or anything else other than trying to use chaos and threat to the foundation of the system as to leverage to trade for a safe exit. Call his bluff. Faith and strength in our sacred institution and founding principles is severe. Go fuck off. Oh my God. Anyway, I said another F word for y'all. There you go. And finishing on that note, there's something that one last thing I'm going to run by you here. So this guy is talking about something. This is somebody named Nick Martin here is talking about something being a good example of eliminationist rhetoric. Calls like this often inspire violent assaults. And here's what he's talking about. Lauren Witzke, who's what is she? She's a Senate candidate. I think she lost. But anyway, the Democratic Party is a crime syndicate and must be eradicated from America entirely. Okay, now that's some pretty shitty way to put things, and I don't like the wording, but this guy says it's an example of eliminationist rhetoric. And here's where he's talking about, I've shared this epic thread before, but it is really essential reading. Please check it out if you're not familiar with the concept. Eliminationism is a term you need not just to become familiar with, especially in today's American rush towards authoritarianism. Yes, there's a rush to authoritarianism. Notice he does this hate hoax picture here. This will be a long illustrated thread explaining what it means and how it works and why Donald Trump is now our eliminationist in chief. Now this is back in 2018. Here's what elimination is. The belief that one's political opponents are a cancer on the body politic that must be excised, either by separation from the public at large, through censorship, or by outright extermination in order to protect the purity of the nation. Here's our question of the day. Answer: 1, Democrats and the left. 2, Republicans and the right. Who right now in this country is the most likely to present eliminationism? 1, Democrats and the left. 2, Republicans and the right. I'm going to save this thread. I'm going to read this, and because eliminationism, oh my God. Aren't the lists eliminationism? Aren't the first article I read today eliminationism? If you missed it, go back and watch the beginning of the show. How do you deprogram 75 million people? Why would you need to deprogram 75 million people? What does that mean? Do you mean you need to eliminate their thoughts? You need to... You get what I'm saying here? And on that note, happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Before you do anything else, hit the like button. That's always appreciated, except for Duck Dog, who's the only one who has permission to hit the thumbs down, because that's our daily thing. That's our gauge. We gauge the show by 1 thumbs down. If there's more than 1, then I get worried. But if there's 1, I know the damn thing works, and that's thanks to my friend Duck Dog. Don't give Duck Dog shit for the thumbs down. If there's 1, we're good. If there's more than 1, I'm looking at you, whoever you are, right now. See this eye? See the evil eye? I even put up the rock eyebrow, the people's eyebrow, or I can give you the other people's eyebrow, Or this eyebrow? Or this eyebrow? Either one, baby. I can do it both ways. That didn't sound right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Hit the like button before you go. Hit the share button and share this out with your friends and neighbors. Throw a donation in the tip jar through Streamlabs, Super Chat, or Cashapp or Venmo, all in the description down below. And if you're watching on the replay, put a comment in the comment section so that I know that you dropped in. That's it for today. I gotta go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.